All right. Let's dive into a topic that's key for every soldier out there, especially for our listeners. Intelligence.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, we're going to be cracking open ADP 305, Chapter 5, getting into the nitty-gritty of how this doctrine actually helps you gain that advantage in the field. And look, we know you're seasoned operators. This isn't some like intro to intelligence.
Right.
We're talking about how to own it.
Absolutely.
How to own that intelligence advantage to really dominate your operations.
Yeah, it's not just those analysts huddled over maps anymore.
Right, exactly.
It's about understanding how this information flows from the national level all the way down to you. So think of it as like a network, almost a living, breathing network, pulsating with information. And knowing how it works, that's what's going to give you that edge.
Okay, so you keep using this word network, right? So paint the picture for me. What does
Yeah.
that actually look like? How does, say, something coming from a national level intel agency, how does that actually translate to, like, boots on the ground during a special ops mission?
Yeah, so let's say you're a special operator and you're tasked with a hostage rescue.
Right.
Right. And not just any hostage rescue, but we're talking dense urban environment.
Okay.
You need intel. You need like building layouts. You need to know where the threats are, safe routes, maybe even where the hostages are being held. That often comes from like the national level intel agencies. That becomes your lifeline.
Wow. So, I mean, that really highlights what the doctrine's talking about when it emphasizes that special operations, they are both intelligence-driven and intelligence-dependent.
That's right.
So it's not just about, hey, go do this. You have to understand the why behind the what.
Exactly. And that's why we have those 5 key criteria for special operations intelligence. And these are really non-negotiables.
Yeah.
So think of it this way. Detailed, accurate, relevant, predictive, and timely. We can kind of think of it as the DARPT system.
Okay. I like it.
And so each one of those is important. If your intel is outdated or it's inaccurate, it could put the entire mission at risk.
That's high stakes. So knowing that you have this network in your corner,
Yeah.
from, like you said, national level agencies to assets in the theater,
Right.
that's got to be at least somewhat reassuring.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, think of it like having a specialized toolkit, right?
Okay.
Each tool designed for a specific job.
Right.
So let's break it down a little bit. At the national level, you have the Office of the Director of National Intelligence, ODNI.
The ODNI.
ODNI, yeah. They coordinate intelligence from 16 different agencies.
Wow, 16.
Yeah, it's a lot. And then you have what we call the Big Five.
Okay.
The heavy hitters. You've got the DIA, NSA, NGA, FBI, and the CIA, each one bringing something unique to the table.
Okay, so it's kind of like having a team of specialists then.
Yeah.
Each with their own area of expertise, but they all come together to provide this like clear and complete picture of what's going on.
And bridging the gap between those national level agencies and you on the ground is the Theater Special Operations Command J2, or we call it TSOC J2.
TSOC J2.
Right.
Got it.
And they work directly with the Theater of Operations Joint Intelligence Center, right?
Yes.
The TOJRS.
The TTSE, that's right.
Lots of acronyms today.
Yeah, alphabet soup, right?
I'm going to keep them 3.
Yeah, so the TOJE, that's your analytical powerhouse. They take all that raw data, connect the dots, and they generate what we call those critical target packages.
Okay, so hold on. So we have the ODNI, the Big Five, the TSOC J2, the TOJ Ike. Am I missing any?
And then specifically for special operations, you have the United States Special Operations Command Joint Intelligence Center. So that's USOJEC. They provide tailored support to special operations, often deploying intelligence packages directly to the theater.
Okay, so we have the ODNI, the Big Five, the TSOC J2, the TOJX, and the USOJ Raid. Okay, got it. Man, it's a lot.
It is a lot, but each one has a specific role, and understanding those roles is really key to kind of making sense of it all.
So it seems like a pretty intricate structure. But what about those situations that require a more, adaptable kind of support? Is there something for that?
Yeah, absolutely, and that's where fusion centers come in.
Fusion centers. Okay. I've heard that term thrown around, but honestly, I don't really know what that means. What is a fusion center?
Yeah. So you can think of a fusion center kind of like an Intel rapid response team, almost.
Okay.
They bring together experts from different agencies,
Okay.
and they often will be focused on a specific geographic area
Yeah.
or maybe an emerging threat.
Got it.
It's about breaking down those silos and getting the most relevant and timely intel into the hands of operators like you as quickly as possible.
So it's all about speed and adaptability.
Exactly.
Okay, I like it. So can you give me an example of like a real world situation where a fusion center really made a difference?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Remember when we were evacuating American citizens from that, that Vol region in Africa a few
Yeah.
years back?
Yeah.
So they actually set up a fusion center, and it was instrumental in providing these real-time threat assessments based on, you know, open source intelligence, signals intelligence, human intelligence. I mean, they were pulling from everywhere. And because of that cross-agency collaboration, they were able to paint this comprehensive picture of what was going on, which allowed for a really successful and, importantly, safe evacuation.
Wow, that's amazing. So they're almost like these pop-up intel centers that can just kind of appear wherever they're needed most.
Yeah, it really shows how adaptable this whole intelligence architecture is.
Okay.
And ADP 305 does a really good job of kind of showing this visually with figures 5.1 and 5.2. I know they might seem a little dense at first glance,
Yeah.
but once you really dig in, they're like roadmaps
Mhm.
showing how the intelligence flows in different situations.
It's like having that behind the scenes look at
Exactly.
how the whole system is designed to help support us.
Yeah, in figure 5.1, that's focused on your day-to-day operations,
Oh.
supporting that combatant commander's plan.
Mm-hmm.
And you see the 389th Military Intelligence Battalion there.
Right.
And then, of course, the S2s within Special Forces and Ranger Regiments.
Yeah, those organic intelligence elements.
Exactly.
Right. So even within this larger framework, you still have those specialized units that are directly supporting that special ops mission.
Absolutely. It's like a well-coordinated dance, right?
Yeah.
Everyone knowing their role, everyone knowing how they contribute.
I like that.
And then figure 5.2, that shifts to large-scale combat operations.
Okay.
Things change a bit there. The tempo is higher, more complex. But the key takeaway from both figures, and I think this is really important, is the focus on interoperability.
Interoperability, what does that mean in this context?
It means making sure that intelligence flows smoothly
Yeah.
between different systems, different units.
Okay.
We don't want any hiccups.
Right, because I mean, at the end of the day, it's not just about having the information. It's about making sure that it gets to the right people at the right time, and I'm assuming in a format that's actually useful.
Exactly. And that's where PED comes into
Mm.
play. Processing, exploitation, and dissemination. So we take that raw data and we turn it into something that's actionable.
Okay. So PED. It's kind of like taking, I don't know, a bunch of raw ingredients and turning it into a gourmet meal.
That's a great way to put it.
You're taking that data and you're turning it into something that can actually be used to make decisions on the ground.
Yeah, and it ensures that what you're getting is timely, it's relevant, and most importantly, it's usable to you in the field. It's about tailoring that data to your specific needs.
Okay.
And here's where it gets really interesting.
Okay.
This isn't just about analysts sitting in offices somewhere, right?
Right.
You, as a special operator, you play a key role in generating actionable intelligence as well.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we are the ones on the ground.
Exactly. Think about it. Your observations, your debriefs after an operation, the information that you gather from local sources, that all feeds back into the system.
Yeah, it's a cycle. We're not just passively receiving this information.
Right.
We're actively contributing to it.
Exactly. It's about understanding the dynamic interplay between consuming actionable intelligence and generating it.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
I mean, it really highlights how we're all part of this interconnected web of information.
We are.
And our actions
Right.
directly impact the quality of intel that we receive.
They do. 100%.
We left off talking about how vital processing, exploitation, and dissemination PED is to the intel cycle, especially for you guys in the field.
Yeah, it's all about taking that raw data, right, and turning it into something that's actually going to be helpful.
Yeah, because what good is intel if it's not usable? Right?
Exactly. And that's where PED comes in. It ensures that the intel you're getting is timely, it's relevant, and most importantly, it's usable.
So it's all about tailoring that data, those reports, to the specific needs of the guys on the ground.
Absolutely. And here's where things get even more interesting.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Lay it on me.
This isn't just about analysts, sitting in offices somewhere poring over data.
Right, right. We talked about that.
You, as a special operator, you play a key role in generating that actionable intelligence.
Oh, for sure. We are the eyes and ears on the ground.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Your observations, the debriefs after an operation, the info you gather from locals,
Right.
it all feeds back into the system.
It's like we always say, if you see something, say something.
Yes. And it's not just seeing, it's hearing, it's sensing. anything that seems off or relevant.
But so we're not just passive recipients of information.
Not at all.
We're active contributors. We're shaping the intelligence picture.
You got it. You're shaping operations, you're helping anticipate threats, you're making the entire intel picture more accurate, more effective. It's about understanding the dynamic interplay between consuming actionable intelligence and generating it.
That's a great way to put it. It highlights how we're all part of this interconnected web of information.
We are all part of it.
And the actions we take on both ends.
Right,
Wow.
exactly.
Directly impact the quality of the intelligence that's flowing through the system.
100%. And ADP 305 does a great job of laying all of this out, especially visually. Figures 5.1 and 5.2, they can seem a little dense at first glance, I know.
They do, yeah. A little intimidating, maybe?
But they're like roadmaps, showing how that intelligence flows in different situations.
It's like having that behind-the-scenes look at how the system works and how we all fit into it.
Exactly. So figure 5.1, that's focused on your day-to-day operations, supporting the combatant commander's plan. And you see the 389th Military Intelligence Battalion there.
Right, right.
And, of course, your S2s within Special Forces and Ranger Regiments.
Those organic intel elements are vital.
Absolutely.
So even within this larger framework, right, we still have those specialized units that are directly supporting the special ops mission.
Absolutely. It's all about coordination. Everyone knowing their role, how they contribute to the bigger picture.
Like a well-oiled machine.
Exactly. Now, figure 5.2, that shifts focus to large-scale combat operations.
Okay, so bigger picture.
Yeah, and things change a bit there. The tempo's higher, it's more complex. But a key takeaway from both figures, and I think this is really important, is the focus on interoperability.
Okay, interoperability. Big word. What's that mean in this context?
Basically, it's about making sure that intelligence is flowing smoothly between all the different systems, different units.
Ah, so no silos.
Exactly. We don't want any hiccups.
Right. You need the right information at the right time. And if
Right.
it gets stuck somewhere along the way,
Exactly. That's when things can go wrong.
that's when things go wrong. All right, so we've got this great system, this network of intelligence professionals feeding us information. But what happens if that intel, even if it's accurate, what if it's just not presented in a way that's useful to us? You know, too technical or just not relevant to what we're doing?
That's a great question. And honestly, that's something we've all probably experienced at some point, right?
For sure. I've gotten those reports that are just pages and pages of, I don't know, technical jargon.
Right. And you're thinking, okay, what am I supposed to do with this?
Exactly. So how do we prevent that from happening? How do we make sure the intel we're getting is actually something we can use?
Well, that's where that human element comes back in. Remember, intelligence isn't just about data. It's about analysis.
Yeah.
And it's about communication.
So we've got all this raw data, right? But someone's got to make sense of it all.
Exactly. That's where the analysts come in. They're like translators almost.
Yeah.
They take all that technical jargon, all those reports, and they turn it into something that's clear, concise, and relevant to what you're doing on the ground.
So it's about tailoring the message to the audience. Because, I mean, what I need to know as a team leader is going to be different from what, say, a battalion commander needs.
100%. And that's something that unfortunately gets missed sometimes. It's not one size fits all.
Right. It's about knowing your audience, knowing what they need, and how they need to receive it. Sometimes it's a detailed report, sometimes it's a quick brief, sometimes it's just, hey, heads up, this is what we're seeing.
Exactly. And that's why that constant communication is so important. It's not enough to just, send out a report and call it good.
Right, it's going to be a two-way street.
Absolutely. Analysts need to be talking to the operators, getting feedback, understanding what's working, what's not.
So we're all in this together.
We are 100%. It's a team effort, from the analyst at a computer screen to the operator on the ground. Everyone plays a part in making sure we have the intelligence we need to succeed.
Couldn't have said it better myself. So we've covered a ton of ground here today. What are those key takeaways you want our listeners to really remember from this deep dive?
I think, number one, timely and relevant intelligence. It's the lifeblood of what we do.
Absolutely.
It lets you guys maneuver effectively, make those high-impact decisions in the toughest situations.
Like we said before, owning that intelligence advantage, that's non-negotiable.
It's everything. And that means understanding who those key players are, knowing where and how to get the intel you need when you need it. And remember that DARPT system, right?
DARPT. Detailed, accurate, relevant, predictive, timely.
Right on. Don't settle for anything less.
It's about knowing that you've got this, incredible support system in place, this team of experts working behind the scenes to make sure you have what you need to get the job done.
100%. And never underestimate the role you play in all of this. You guys are the eyes and ears on the ground.
That's right.
Your observations, your instincts, your understanding of the situation, it all matters. It's what makes that intelligence cycle come alive.
It's a good reminder that we're not just receiving information, we're shaping it.
Exactly. And here's something I always like to leave folks with. The intelligence world, it's not static.
It's always changing.
Always. New threats pop up, technology advances, our adversaries adapt. So we have to as well.
So basically, continuous learning is key.
It's not just a good idea, it's mission critical.
Stay sharp, stay current.
Keep your finger on the pulse of those new technologies, the emerging trends. Embrace that drive to learn and adapt because that's what's going to keep you one step ahead.
Own that intel advantage today and tomorrow.
Well said. This has been an awesome deep dive. We've learned a ton about how military intelligence works, how it all comes together to support those on the front lines. Really appreciate you breaking it all down for us.
Absolutely. Glad I could join you anytime.
And to our listeners, thanks for joining us on the deep dive. We'll catch you next time.